Okay. So we were discussing about staffing, right? This is one of the important managerial function, manager role, that is staffing. So you know, in a single line, if we say staffing means selecting the right man for the right job, right? So we need to have an understanding about the job also, and the functions to be performed. All these things have to be understood in a well manner. Then only we can do effective staffing, because it is right man for the right job. The right job. What is the job? Have to understand, right? So one of the important thing is job design, right? So what is job design? Job design is a process of organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to achieve the organizational goal, right? So what are we doing? We are organizing, right? We are organizing the duties, the tasks, and the responsibilities into a unit. Right? So we know what in the site, what and all duties are there, what and all responsibilities are there. So in a site, what and all are there? One is we have to have a security of the site, right? Site should be secure because we may be storing what like our materials in the site, so there should be security, right? Then we should have uh, the jobs like concreting, overseeing the concreting job is there. Then overseeing the cutting of the reinforcements, right? Then measurements, taking measurements, the length, height, width, all these measurements, these things have to be taken. Right? So there are many duties to be or tasks in to do in a site, right? So what do you mean by job design? In job design, we are organizing these tasks. Okay, we are organizing these tasks, duties, and responsibilities into unit of work, right? So we'll have like security in the site. It will be looked by one person, right? This will be looked into by a person, and that person will be given the charge of watchman, right? The technical things like overseeing the concreting, overseeing the cutting of reinforcements, and explaining the diagram to them, explaining the reinforcement diagrams to them, right? All these things have to be performed by one single person, and that will be a site engineer. We are so job assignment is the process of organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to achieve the organization goal. And what is the goal? To successfully complete our project, right? So that will depend upon the site. Okay, that will depend upon the project also. You know? The job design defines the various tasks required to do a job and the method of performing the task. See, what you have to understand here is we are not only defining what and all are the tasks, okay? Not only that, but we are also describing the or defining the method. Okay, defining the method of performing of the task is also done here, right? So we are not only defining the task, duties, responsibilities, but also how it is to be done. Okay, the watchman has to come into the site at 7 to 7. The next watchman will come at evening 7 o'clock. Right, like that we'll be having a shift, right? Or maybe we'll be having three watchmen. So they will be coming at 8 hour shift. So that will depend, right? So we are how it is done is also defined while we are doing job design. So job design is the process of organizing the tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to achieve the goal. Okay, but okay, what you have to understand here is we are also defining how we perform the task. Okay, the method is also defined. So it establishes the relationships between the job holder and the supervisor, subordinates, and colleagues. Right? We are defining how it is done. Right? So it establishes the relationships also. Like so, like the one which we had, the site engineer to purchase something. If he wants some materials to be purchased, what will he do? Sometimes if it is the company policy to call the purchase manager. So its job is designed in such a manner that whenever the site engineer needs to procure something, he has to call upon the uh, purchase manager. Okay? We are designing this in such a way, such a manner. We are establishing relationship. So site engineer is related to whenever to complete his work, he has a relationship between the purchase manager. Okay. Similarly, we'll have something is that we will clarify some areas. There is a relationship also designed, right? So job design involves three things. One is we are organizing the tasks, duties, and responsibilities into units, right? Then we are defining how these tasks are to be performed, right? And it also establishes the relationships, right? The relationships that should exist between job order, the superior, yeah. Then what are the steps involved in job design? The job design involves three steps, right? The first one is specify individual tasks. This means different tasks to be included in a job are specified and categorized. So first I do over the cutting of reinforcements, oversee payments of finished products. Then we have to do that also whenever we are buying concrete, mixed concrete, we have to make sure ensure that maintaining to test. So cube test. We basically use a cube. You send it to the app, test it, and whenever the stand asks for it, right? To do some test because before completing you should know when so individual task. The we do the next is specified methods. Specific methods to conduct various tasks are identified. It provides the basic guidelines to perform the job. Right? As we said, one of the jobs of the site engineer is to take purchase materials, right? So if he has to purchase material, what he has to do, right? He should either he can call up. We have a supplier with us. We can call up the supplier, and the supplier will bring the material to him. That's one method. Okay? That's one specific method. Otherwise, we have to call up the purchase manager. And the purchase manager will order on behalf of the site engineer. That's another method. What is the specific method which we are going to adopt? Okay, the specific methods to conduct the various tasks are identified. Right? So it provides the basic guidelines to perform the job. Clear? The third step is combining the tasks into job. After specifying the individual tasks to be included in a job, they are combined in a group and assigned to individual employee or group. Okay. So we have specified the task, right? So after specify the task, everything has been done. We combine. Okay. Like we said, sometimes what is in sites we need to provide food for the employees, right? Sometimes we will be working in a difficult area, so we have had to provide food for the employees. So that charge can be given to watchman. So that watchman is having a charge of providing security to the site. So in addition, he can be also given a charge of ordering the food. Right? When the time comes, on correct time, he can take numbers and order the food for the workers. Right? So we are combining after specifying the individual tasks to be included in a job. They are combined into a group and assigned to an individual employee or group. Clear? So what is job design? The job design is the process of organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to achieve organization growth. That's one thing. Second one is we are defining the not only the job but also how it is done. The methods of performing job is also defined in job design. Third one is we are establishing the relationships that should exist between the job holder and the supervisor. It's called subordinates and its colleagues. Right? Now, what are the steps involved in job design? There are three steps. The first one is what are specifying the individual tasks. Okay, what and all are the individual tasks to be included in the job? They are specified and categorized. Right? Okay, these things have to be done. It can be done by the site engineer. These things have to be done. It can be done by the foreman. These things has to be done. This can be done by the laborer. This thing has to be done. It has to be done by the project manager. This thing has been. It has to be done by the like watchman. So yeah, just specify a categorizing, right? Then second step is we need to specify the method. Okay, specific methods to conduct the various tasks. Yeah, identified. So it provides the basic guidelines to perform the job. So I know, so I need to procure some material, cement for my site. So I can either order it directly. It is my job to order the material, or it is some job of the purchase manager to obtain the material. So it's been defined. So my relationship also defined. Third one is we have already categorized, right? We have already identified and categorized the tasks to be done. Now we will combine them. We combine the task into job. Like we said, we have a task of what ordering food. So we cannot we can give, rather than giving the job to site engineer and overloading him, we can give the task to the foreman or the watchman, right? So he can do the job. Okay. So this is job design. Understood? Now, what is the importance of job design? So it contributes to the organization effectiveness. So because we know what and what job has to be done. Okay. So there is nothing which we don't know, right? What and what job has to be done, how it has to be done, right? And what is the relationship between the employees? Everything is pre-known, right? We have already defined. So there is no unknowns in our work. Okay, in our organization, there are no unknowns. So we know everything that has to be done. So it will be more and more effective. So so the problem will arise only when there are some unknowns. But here, if we are properly designing the task or job, we have no unknowns, right? So it contributes to the organization effectiveness. Then enhances employee satisfaction, motivation, involvement, and commitment level. Right? So we are designing means we are identifying the task, identifying the methods, then grouping them or organizing them, and establishing a relationship. Right. So whenever we are doing this, we can take into consideration the people also into the consideration. What are the tastes? What are the likes? What are the dislikes? All these things can be taken into consideration. So rather than expecting a civil engineer to do some jobs which he might find menial, we can give it to someone else, right? So we can properly design the job. So that will help in employee satisfaction. He'll be having a feeling that I am doing something that is I am supposed to. I learned civil engineering. I'm a civil engineer, so I am doing my job as a civil engineer. Okay. Sometimes what will happen, we'll be saying, right? What man, I have studied this thing. Now I am working this. So he'll be not having a satisfaction because he'll be choosing civil engineering because out of his passion. Because out of some circumstances, he may not be doing the job in the company. It may be a civil engineering company, but he may be doing the job which is not related to him. So that will lead to dissatisfaction. But if we are properly designing, then it can lead to employee satisfaction. Employees will be motivated. They will have more involvement, and their commitment level will be more. Right. So it helps in cost reduction by eliminating the causes of accidents and injuries through enhanced health and safety measures. Right. So third importance is it helps in cost reduction. Right. It helps in cost reduction by eliminating the causes of accidents and injuries through enhanced health and safety measures. Again, we know what are the jobs to be done, right? We have defined the job, but also we have defined the method of doing the job also, right? So since these two things have to be done, then what will happen? We know what are the risks in there. Okay? What are the problems that may arise? So we can beforehand itself we can take the measures, right? We can take the measures, we can take the corrective measures, or we can make the preventive measures, right? Like sometimes you might have seen in your sites that net, okay, in a tall buildings they'll be putting up nets in the around the building, okay, on top layer, because it is because see, it's not that a person may fall down, okay, but the person may be careful, but what will happen is sometimes the tool may fall down, a brick may fall down, and people are working under on the ground also. Okay? Something falling from 10 story, it will be very dangerous for the people who are standing below. So I know this is a possibility because I am designing the job. So what will I do? What I'll say, okay, everyone should wear a hat, okay, helmet. Okay, helmet is compulsory in the site. Okay, without helmet you cannot work. Right? So that maybe that can I can make it compulsory. I can put up those nets. Right? So this can be done. So enforce. I can enforce health and safety measures because I know what may be the causes of accidents and injuries. So because I'm reducing the accidents and injuries, yes, there will be a human factor is there. Okay, we'll be losing it. Sometimes we may lose a worker. Okay, but what will happen is we have to consider when such a thing happens, site has to the work may stop, right? Work will stop. Then there will be a pay of insurance. Things has to be paid. All this extra monetary expenses will also come in. So we need to eliminate it. Okay? From profit point of view, also this is important, right? Because I may say, okay, what is I'll have other workers make up, but no, it cannot be done like this because uh, ethics is there, a human factor is there, but at the same time we have to take the profit also into consideration, which is beneficial for in either case. Right? Now, what are the okay? So, what are the important? One is it contributes to organizational effectiveness, enhances employee satisfaction, motivation, involvement, and commitment. Then helps in cost reduction and how by eliminating the causes of accidents and injuries through enhanced safety and health measures. Right? What factors affecting job design? The first one is what is our requirement? Okay, what are our requirements? Whether we have high productivity, quality of work, etc. will define. Because if we are going for higher productivity, then our organization structure will be more different. Right? We will be going for mass production. Or if we are going for high quality products, that is one product in 1 year, there our production, there our organization status will be different. Job design will be different. We'll be going for the we can see it's hand stitched leather will be used. Okay? You can see in the automobile itself, okay? A very high end cars like Rolls Royce and all, they are producing 1 or 2 cars in a year or 2 years. Right? Take we had to pre-order, we had to wait because everything is handmade. It will take time. So it has to have that perfection level. So everything will be different. So it will depend upon our organization first and foremost. Then individual likes and dislikes. So as you said, people has to be taken into consideration. And then the technology which we use. The organization structure again. It will depend upon the requirement. Right? So when we compare job analysis with job design. Okay, so job analysis was identifying the uh, factors influencing our work and the requirements of the job, studying the requirements of the job and the factors which influence the requirements, right? So it will be job analysis process of identify task, duty, responsibility, qualification, skill, knowledge, etc. Right? So by job analysis we mean like we are sorry for the background noise, but so in job analysis what we do is we are identifying we are studying about the requirements of a job, okay, requirements to do a job and the factors which influence the requirements. Like we said, we have a translator job, English to Malayalam. So what is the requirement? We need to have a person who is well versed in English and Malayalam, right? So requirements of and factors is because we are doing the English Malayalam right, translation. So that is job analysis, requirements and factors influencing the requirements. Right? And what is job design? Job design is basically we are allocating the task to an employer group. Okay? So we are organizing the tasks to be done with different tasks, duties, and responsibilities to be done, and these are handed over to one particular individual or maybe to a group of individuals. Okay? That is job analysis and job design. So job analysis includes identification. Job design includes grouping them and organizing them and giving to a third person. Right? So that's about job design. Right? Now, what are the skills? What are the personal characteristics needed in a manager? Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, because question will be either skill or personal characteristics. Okay? Sometimes the question may come as per skill and person, but don't get confused with what you write. Okay? Skills are different, personal characteristics are different. They they might sound similar, but they should be written as separate itself, right? So what are skills needed in a manager? Okay, so you are going to employ a manager. What are the skills you need to look into? Okay, you are going to conduct an interview. Now, what are the uh, skills you are going to look into, right? So the skills will be, there will be technical skills. So to be an effective manager, a person should have management skills. That's basic, right? We know. So what are the skills we need? We need technical skills. We need human skills, the HR human relation skills, then concept and design skills, analytical problem solving abilities, right? So what are the analytical and problem solving abilities? So managers must be able to identify problems, analyze complex situations, and by solving the problem, exploit the opportunities presented. Okay. So analytical problem solving abilities. That is the first one. So what do you mean by analytical and problem solving abilities? That is, the managers must be able to identify the problem. Okay. First and foremost, he should be able to identify the problem. Okay. Then analyze the complex situation. Okay. So whatever we say, whenever we are considering a situation, it will be a complex. There won't be any easy situations in the life, right? There will be, everything will be in a complex. So analyze the complex situation, and by solving the problem, exploit the opportunities presented, right? So the manager has to identify the problem first and foremost. Okay, uh, we are having the COVID situation. That's the problem. Okay, then what can be done? Okay, a restaurant owner, what can he do? Analyze the situation, then and solve the problem. Solve, and either he can shut down his uh, restaurant, or he can do home delivery. So yeah, he is analyzing the problem, and by he's finding out a solution for the problem. So for situations that people are not coming to my restaurant, so what can I do? Either I can shut down my restaurant, or I can do something else. I am identifying the I'm solving the problem, and once I have solved the problem, I am also exploiting the opportunities present. So what he has to want to have to do is, a manager should feel always, whenever a problem is in front of him, he should see that there is an opportunity behind the problem. Okay, so he should not get discouraged with the scenario. What he has to do is, he has to take into consideration, yes, there is a problem, but I can make use of this problem and get into a new opportunity, right? So what happened in the first last year when COVID struck, everyone was forced to sit at home, right? So the day-to-day ration became an issue. Then what did the marketers, supermarketers, and all they did? They started home delivery. Yeah, you give means to youngsters. They started apps, right? So a problem came. People analyzed the problem. They found a solution, and basically solution means they have found the opportunity to exploit. Okay, so people are sitting at home. They are tired. So we'll bring them the groceries to their home. So they created a opportunity. Right? So morning itself, in the WhatsApp status, they'll put up a bill, right? The menu, okay? This much is the cost of your fish, chicken, everything. What is the price menu, right? And if you want, you can order them. Similarly, so what has been done there? That the problem is there. You have analyzed the problem. You found a solution, and by finding a solution, you started exploiting the opportunity. Okay, there is an opportunity behind that also. Right? It may not be available to all of them, but you should be able to identify them. Okay, so if you can identify that opportunity, then you are a good manager, right? And but for doing this, you should have using rational approaches. They must identify the factors that stand in the way of opportunities. Okay, everything is to be rational. Okay, using rational approach, you can do this. Then analytical skills should be used to find the needs of present or potential customers, and then satisfy those needs with the product or service. Okay, being a manager, you have two types of customers. Okay, one is my present customers, my car. Okay, the other ones who are not buying from me. Okay, they are my potential customers. They are not your enemy. They are your potential customers. Okay. So what being a good manager means, you should be able to identify what is their need, okay, of your present and potential. Okay. For present customers who are buying from you, and the potential customers who are not buying from you, they are going to your competitors. But you should not consider them as your enemies. They are your potential customers. So how can those people can be made by my customers? So that is what a manager should think about. Okay, so his present and potential customers. So manager should be able to use the analytical method, analytical skills, so that the people becomes his potential customers, even potential customers becomes his present customers, and then he can give them a product or service that satisfy their needs, right? So that is a analytical skills. So analytical skills means basically analytical problem solving. Basically, what a manager has to do is, whenever a problem is presented before him, he should first and foremost he should be able to identify the problem. Okay, there's a problem like that. Once he has identified the problem, then he should analyze the situation, then try to solve the problem. And solving of the problem should be done in such a way that he can exploit that opportunity. Okay, he should see the problem as an opportunity. Okay, something that stands in the way of his opportunity, right? So he should use his rational approaches so that he can identify those factors that are standing in the way of his opportunities. Then, using his skills, he should be able to find out the needs of the potential present and potential customers. Okay, and then satisfy those needs with a product or service, right? Then comes the technical skills. The technical skills refers to the ability of the ability to use the equipments, methods, and techniques involved in performing specific tasks. Okay? So the manager should know how to, at least how to operate a machine. So if I am overseeing someone, we are using a certain machinery in our department, so he should know how to operate the machinery. He should have a basic idea of the method, of the equipment, of the techniques which were involved in performing the task. Okay, he should have a basic idea. So then only he will be effective. So he should have the technical skills. You know that he can stand apart from the topic. You can see that's what happens in your project itself. In a project, if you're not careful about the choosing project, so it will be very difficult for you to do, because if your guide is not interested in the topic, or the guide doesn't have the proper know-how or the topic, so it will be very difficult for you to get the good guidance. Okay, whenever you're choosing a topic, you should have a proper discussion with the guide, right? So technical skills comes into play. So because everyone doesn't know everything, right? So but as far as manager is concerned, you should have a basic skills to use the equipment, have an idea about the methods and techniques that is being used in under him. What's the under him, right? So that is the technical skills you should have. Then conceptual skills. Conceptual skills means ability to coordinate all organization activities and varied interest involved in it. Okay, so you know a manager is one who is managing everything, right? So he has to oversee everything. He has to do the manager. He has the different roles, interpersonal, interpretal, information roles he has to carry out. He has to have the functions, right? Everything has to be done by the manager. So he has to coordinate. He has to coordinate all the organizational activities. He has to coordinate everything. Okay? And also take into consideration the interest of people involved in it. Okay, there may be people, hidden agendas will be there. Okay, certain people will be interested in some things. So being a manager, you should be able to identify those things also. Okay, so it involves viewing the organization in its totality and understanding the interdependence of its individual parts. Okay, so being a manager, he should have a skill of being in the conceptual skill means he should be able to view the organization as a whole, one unit. Okay, you cannot view it as a parts. Okay, so there will be civil department, electrical department, mechanical department, CS department, electronics department. 5 departments will be there. So if I am a manager, I should be able to see all the 5 departments together. Okay, head of the department can see look into only the department itself. But being a principal, okay, or a director means I have to look into all the uh, departments as one. Okay, right? So how it influences each other. Okay, Similarly, the production, marketing, right? The sales departments are there. So the sales is down. You cannot blame only sales department. Okay? That's maybe it might be because of their fault, but maybe because it's not, they are not having proper marketing. People don't know the product exists. Okay, that may be a cause. So you have to take into consideration marketing also. Or it may be because the product is a substandard product. Okay, people are not buying my product because it is substandard. So I have to take into production into consideration. So it involves viewing the organization in its totality, right? So it includes analytical skills and it's the most difficult skill to acquire, okay? Because it will take some time, right? The so analytical skills, analytical and problem solving skills, technical skills, conceptual skills, and the fourth one is human relation skills. Okay, so because we have to manager is someone who has to work with different types of people. As we said, there will be varied interests. So we are working with 10 different people. I am working with 10 different people. 10 different personalities are there. Okay, 10 different thought processes. So I should be able to work with all the 10. Okay, then only I can succeed. So it is the ability of manager to work with, understand, and motivate people in the organization. Okay, it's known as interpersonal skills. I mean, we are studying the first module. So it includes one is motivating skills, skills to encourage the subordinates. Okay, like giving the award, prizes, etc. Okay, what you have to understand is motivation is a very big important tool in your manager's arsenal. Okay, so what you can do is, so it should be in a correct place also. Okay, in a closed room, okay, you are doing a good job, it will do, but it will be more effective than if it is done in front of other employees also, right? Rather than calling you in the staff room and saying, okay, you have done a very good job. If I praise you in the classroom, both you are different, right? So it should be done properly. Then leadership skills, the ability to inspire confidence, trust in subordinates in order to have maximum cooperation from them for getting the work done. Okay, so you should be able to inspire people to work. Okay, rather than fear. People who work out of fear will be doing only absolute minimum. But if you are inspiring them to work for the company, you can do that. If you can lead them, they will be putting their 110%. Okay? Then it is the ability to influence human behavior. Basically, you are changing human behavior, right? So basically, skills are four, right? What are they? They are, first one is analytical and uh, analytical and problem solving abilities. Second one is technical skills, conceptual skills, and the fourth one is human relation skills, right? Human relation skills involved, you have to motivate the people, you have to lead the people. So leadership skills and motivation skills will also come into play, right? So what are the technical skills? These is job, right? They are required at operating or supervisory level. So at lower level managers should have technical skills because they are directly in relation with the people who are doing the job. So they should have the technical skills more. As you higher up, if you go higher and higher in the manager's level, then your technical skills may decrease, right? The concept skills deal with ideas and are important at top level. How you are dealing with the people, right? So that becomes important in the top level management. Human relationship, it's important in all levels because you are working with people in all the you are having human contact in all levels, right? So HR human relation skills are required in all levels. So technical skills are required more in supervisory levels. Okay, at higher up it may decrease, right? Conceptual skills are uh, required more in higher level because they are making the plans, right? The strategies or the plans are made at the higher up, so it will affect the entire company. So there should have more conceptual skills, right? Now, what are the person characteristics needed in a manager? The first one is desire to manage. Okay, the manager should have a desire. Okay, he should have a desire to work like a manager. Okay? Successful manager has a strong desire to manage, to influence others, and to get results to team efforts of subordinates. It requires time, energy, effort, and long hours of work. So he should have a desire. Okay, you should have a desire to learn civil engineering. Then only you will be a good civil engineer student. Okay, if you are not having that, you will not succeed. Right? Similarly, a manager should have a desire to do that particular job. Then communication skills and empathy. Okay? So communication skills become very important for a manager, because what happens is you are not only verbally communicating. Okay, so manager has to communicate through written reports, letters, speeches, and discussions. So he has to take part in all of these things, right? So communication is a very important tool, right? And whenever we are communicating, it requires two things. One is it should be very clear. Okay, it should not be kept open to interpretation. Whatever you are saying, it should be very clear. Okay, people should not have doubt in that. The other thing is it should have empathy, and empathy means it's the feeling, ability to understand the feelings of another. Okay, we should whenever we're talking to someone, we should also understand what their mentality is, what their feeling is. We should be open to that. Okay, we should be able to understand their uh, feelings also. Okay, so communication is important within our company itself and outside the company itself. Okay, intra group and intergroup. Intra group is within our same organization, and intergroup is outside the organization. So outside the organization, it may be with the customers, suppliers, governments, the stockholders, everyone. Okay, the manager is one. We have one of his role is as a spokesperson, right? So he has to do that. Then a manager should have integrity and honesty. Okay? His word should be final. What he says. Because we should be able to trust him. Okay? He should be trustworthy and morally sound. Okay? And because he is the one who is dealing with money and all, he should be honest. Okay? And he should keep the superiors informed. Should adhere to full truth. Okay, not partial truth. Tell whatever it is in the true manner. Then he should be have ethical standard. He should have an ethics, and he should be able to conform to the ethics, right? And past performance of manager, we have to consider past performance also. How we will perform. We can look into what he has done in the earlier, right? So it will give us an indication. It's one of the important consideration in the selection of middle and upper level. Whenever we are promoting the lower level, we'll see his past performance, basically, right? And based on that, we'll be promoting, right? So we'll stop here today. So if you have any doubt, please let me know.